Good afternoon, Havelians. Welcome to this webinar. We will be discussing Management of Curved Canals, a Simplified Approach by me, Dr. Sanket Sheth. I am a practicing endodontist in city of Mumbai since 2013. I have done my post-graduation from Manipal College of Dental Sciences, Manipal, under the able guidance of Dr. Shashi Rashmi Acharya. In this presentation, you will get insights into how to manage curved canals on daily basis in the most simplified and predictable manner. Let's get started.
कभी कभी लगता है अपन ही खतरनाक है. The best way to prevent illness from coronavirus is to avoid being exposed to this virus. I'll start my presentation with this slide which says simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Try to keep your procedures as simple as possible. We are dealing with curved canals. So first let's try and understand what is a curved canal.
A tooth with straight root or a straight canal is rather an exception than the normal because most of the teeth have some degree of curvature inherent there. They are also called as dilacerations. The tooth is considered to have a dilaceration towards mesial or distal direction if there is 90-degree angle or greater along the axis of the tooth or root. Now, this refers to an angulation or a sharp bend or a curve in a root or a crown of a firm tooth, or a deviation or a bend in a linear relationship of a crown of a tooth to its root. So this is basically a definition of curved canals. In short, they are always there, but when you take a radiograph, you just see a 2D image, you don't see a 3D image. Hence, it is mandatory that you take 2 to 3 well-angulated radiographs to judge the severity of the root curvature.
The most important assessment is the pre-operative assessment. Radiographic assessment is obligatory when treating a curved canal. I always give advice to all my students is to look at the radiograph for at least 3 minutes from coronal to apical end. This gives you a lot of information. You should try and create a mental image of the curve that you are going to expect in your mind, which you're going to do clinically. Take a print of a radiograph, measure the canal curvature, look out for pulp stones, hindrances in the chamber and coronal two-third. Restrain, the most important word in the management of curved canals. Do not force any file, be it hand file or a rotary file. Do no harm. If you can't manage, simply call or refer to a specialist. Take 3 well-angulated radiographs, which should include 1 straight on, 1 mesial and 1 distal. Now there are many ways to determine the angle of curvature. The two most commonly used is a Niders method and another one is Wien's method. First let's look at the Niders method. In Niders method, a line is drawn, as you can see on the image. The A is a line which is the straight part of the canal, and C is a part of the line which is a curved part of the canal, where they intersect and the angle is measured, and that angle is called as a Niders method. It's one of the most simplest. While in Wien's, the both A and B remains the same. It's just that you drop a perpendicular from line A and B, and when they intersect is what is called as the degree of curvature. Now there are many classification of curvatures. I will not go into the detail, but the most important piece of literature which I would like to share is this. When the angle of curvature is severe, that is more than 20 degrees, the chances of ledge formation is almost 52.3%. So you got to be very careful if the angle is more. So in all, take a printout, try to measure the angles and formulate a plan, just like you plan a dental implant. That way, not just open a tooth, plan an endodontic therapy. Read the radiograph. There are many clinics in India which do not take radiographs and they feel it's just not required, and they end up doing underperforming. My first rule of thumb is you need to take well angulated 3 radiographs to assess the degree of curvature. Now the most important aspect, which is axis opening, we will be covering it now. You must remember that in dealing with the curved canals, you need to remove these triangles of dentine. These triangles of dentine hinder the subsequent root tree files to enter into the canal. You should not make conservative access preparations when dealing with curved canals. We need absolutely straight line access. These triangles have to be moved away from the furcation area towards the axial area and try to achieve a straight line axis. I'll share some of my straight line axes with you. Have a look at these. This is straight. There is no conservation over here. Here also it's straight. This is central incisor. Many times you find a middle mesial in this particular part of the tooth. Here also this is a straight line axis. This is an MB2. What instrument you should use to remove the triangles of dentine? You can use any orifice opener of your choice. My choice is Edge Tapered Platinum, is because it has one of the highest cyclic fatigue resistance and it's very difficult to separate. So he is going to be our friend for demonstration of curved root canals. Now, as I said, pre-operative assessment is important. You can have a look at this radiograph. I can see multiple stones over here. There's a curvature which is a gradual, and there is one more curvature over here. So it's basically an S-shaped curve, more of an S towards an apical end. Now let's have a look at the video. Management of curved canals. This is the third molar, and we're going to negotiate the mesial root of this particular tooth. So this is what I use for my day-to-day endodontics. The first burr, as you can see in this, is a surgical length carbide burr. Surgical length carbide burr helps you in a better visualization. That is, your handpiece never gets obstructed and you have clear vision of where exactly you are drilling. In the posteriors, upper sevens, you can use normal length carbide burrs, and the third burr that I use, it's not a burr, I would say it's a diamond with a round end, and this is an endo-axis burr. These two are from Neo burrs, which is from Microcopy, and this is also a Neo diamond from Microcopy. Now the advantage of these, you should when construction, these both burrs are single piece construction, so they don't break at the neck, and that is how you can prolong the life of these burrs. Now why I use carbides more is there's a reason behind it. Carbide cuts, diamond abrades. I would like to cut fast and I would like to penetrate, and the feeling of drop that you get in a pulse chamber is always with a carbide burr. You will, I mean, I do understand you get with diamond burr, but with carbide it's much more pronounced. So these are my three main burrs that I use for practically all axis openings. Here the size is number 4, this is 2, number 4, and this is basic endo axis diamond burr. Okay. As you can see, this is a surgical length carbide burr, and we are utilizing this to do the axis opening. It's fairly straight. It gives you more vision. You exactly know where you are drilling. Feeling of drop. So this is the second burr. This is an endo axis burr. You just got a drop. You take this and you find the axis. Now in a minute's time you can finish the axis procedure in a minute's time. Alright, let's move to working length considerations. This is very important because you should know where your endpoint is. So, for simplified guidelines based on a lot of literature on apex locators, we've come to a conclusion that always take the length till 00 on an apex locator and set your rotary files 0.5 millimeter less than the length what you get at 00 on apex locator. Use hand files in between your rotaries till 00. That way you can maintain the patency, but do not use the mark 05 or just the first line or second line on the green zone, because you need to clean right till the end. Here's a pictorial representation of how your end of the root canal looks. As you can see, CDJ is an area, it's not just a point. So if you by mistake say choose arbitrarily first line in green zone or a second or third line on a green zone, you could be anywhere and thereby not cleaning this area. My idea of shaping is go right till here and then deduct 0.5 mm, so you could clean most of the root canal and not have collagen blockage. If you try and work short, this is what happens. This part of the canal never gets cleaned. The glide path considerations are as follows. Always try and use a curved file. Curved file is an intelligent file. You can have two types of bend. One is a sharp bend and one is a gradual bend. How to bend? You can bend a 10K file using a bird beak ortho plier. What motions can be used? Minimal watch winding, especially in curved canals. You can use a balance force motion, and the most useful is the anti-curvature filing. That is filing the outer wall only up and down motion. There is no motion of watch winding. In anti-curvature there is only up and down motion. Now let's have a look at the videos. You can see over here there is minimal watch winding. When 8 number goes, most likely the 10 number would also go, but the 15 number would resist going. So when your 8 goes, your 10 usually goes to length. See, this is the watch winding motion. You can have a look at it. We will have a look at one more video which is of the balance force motion, and I'll show you right away. You can have a look at over here. See, the 8 number goes, minimal watch winding, 8 number goes right till the end. We measure it on the ruler. It's around 21.5. So usually when 8 number goes, the 10 number also goes, because the jump is only 20%. Now you see what happens with the 15 number file. Let's see what happens when you put a 15 number file. It doesn't go, it just resists after 10. So what you should do is take a 20 number file, anti-clockwise 90 degrees, clockwise 90 degrees, anti-clockwise 360 degrees, and 2 to 3 motions you do, pull it out, and then come back and put your 15 number. Though I do not advise you to put 15 number file back. You will get 10 super smooth, and then you can shift to your whatever glide path instrument that you wish to. You must remember, in balance force technique, the file is rotated 90 degrees clockwise without pressure, which is an engaging, just the engaging stroke. Then it is rotated anti-clockwise 270 degrees to 360 degrees with severe apical force, which is called as a shearing stroke, and you have to repeat this motion 90 360 90 360 90 clockwise 360 anti-clockwise 3 to 4 times, and just take it out and introduce your 10 number file back, achieve patency, get super smooth glide path, and then jump to your whatever rotary file, glide path files you wish to in a curved canal. You can do that. Let's move to the next part of the presentation. Now if you try and force a file, now this is what happens when 10 goes and the 15 number doesn't go, and it leads to a lot of frustration, and you try and push a file, and which is the most disastrous in cases of curved canal. So avoid doing that. Try giving a sharp bend to the file at the tip, last 3 millimeters, so that this does not happen. Be careful of transportation. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. In anti-curvature filing, as you can see, you curve, you try to file only this particular surface of the tooth. You do not try to instrument this wall of the tooth. You only try and instrument this surface of the tooth. So the most important technique in management of curved canal is a zone technique, wherein you divide. First prepare the coronal zone, coronal 1/3, middle 1/3, and then you take care of the apical 1/3. Basically a crown down technique. Which rotary files to be used? Any files which are heat treated. Now previous generation of files were austenitic, like the previous generation of ProTaper or Hero Shaper, the steel colored, which was stiff with shape memory and which led to a lot of loss of dentine, and also the procedural errors like fracture of the instrument, as they lacked resistance to the cyclic fatigue. In curved canals, always try and use more martensite files with heat treatment process, eliminating shape memory and improving the flexibility. We are doctors, we are not carpenters. Do not try and force a rotary file like this. What rotary files to be used? My personal preference is Edge file from Edge Endo. There are reasons. There is enough amount of literature, and these files have one of the highest cyclic fatigue rate, and I would just worry free use them in any curved canal. Words of wisdom for all of you: files will follow glide path, proper access, and glide path leads to less stress on a rotary file. This is an Edge file. It's from the company called Edge Endo. It has unmatched flexibility, incredible strength, there's no bounce back, there's no transportation, and it's compatible. Now it has one of the highest cyclic fatigue rate, and as you can see the figures over here, it's almost 700 cycles to failure. So it's very difficult to separate these files, and I don't claim this, but there are a number of research papers on these files that they are extremely flexible and with the good cutting efficiency to manage any curved canal. Now let's look at what is torsional fatigue. Torsional fatigue is when the tip of the file binds in the canal, which is smaller than the size of the instrument, and the upper portion continues to rotate, and what happens? Boom, fracture. Let's have a look at the video. This is very common with the austenitic files without any heat treatment, and should be avoided, especially in the curved canals. So let's have a look at the video. As you can see in this particular video, the file just goes in and the upper portion continues to rotate, and you have a boom, breaking. Let's try and understand what is cyclic fatigue. Every file comes with a fixed number of rotation it can withstand before it fractures. This is what we call it as NCF, number of cycles to fracture, and this is called as cyclic fatigue. Kindly have a look at the video, which is 1704, and it's going to be mounted on Xmart handpiece. Okay, and this I would rotate in this slot at 90 degrees for, you can see for yourself how long does it rotate before it fractures. There we are, restarting it. I just hold the block nicely so that you can see. You can see this, the file is at 90 degrees. Okay, and there we start. Just count till the time this fractures. These files at present have the longest cyclic fatigue resistance, whereby you will be able to negotiate a curve without any risk of separation. Have a look, this is at 90 degree. I am applying pressure also. Everything I am doing to break the file. This is right at the 90 degrees. Finally it broke. Almost more than a minute. Now clinical. As you saw in the video, it took a huge amount of time for file to get fractured. So you must use, I am not promoting any particular file, but what I want you to understand is use a file which has a high cyclic fatigue resistance. Use any heat treated file which you trust, which has a research, and use them in the curved canal. Now let's look at the glide path considerations. After getting 10 numbers super smooth, use a 1704, or after doing a balance force technique with 20k file, flex R file, you can use 1704 directly. This file has a maximum fluid diameter of 1 millimeter, hence it will be very useful, and it has to be used at the speed of 300 to 350 rpm, and since it has MFD of 1 mm, it preserves more dentin as opposed to other rotaries which are made on 1.2 millimeter wire. The technique is simple. The X7 series is what I use most frequently. Now there has always been a controversy which I will address, whether to go for 4% or 6%. Now when you have a severe resistance to the 10 number file, which in cases of an old patient or a highly calcified canals, you can choose to finish the preparation at 4%. Otherwise, if there is minimal resistance to 10 number, try and give a 6% taper to the canal, as the more you give a taper, 6% or 36%, not the 8% or 9%, but this would give us a deep shape, and where you should be able to clean better, instrument better, and fill better. Now I am able to do 25 6%, 36% even in the curved canals. Now this is mainly due to the cyclic fatigue resistance of these files, and you don't have to worry about fracture or the instrumentation. Now let's look at the complete shaping video for how to use these particular files. Please do not perform ninja access unless you do not have a microscope, and I would refrain, especially in curved canal management like this, never do an ninja access. It should be straight line. You should be able to see all the orifices in one go. Now I would not introduce a K file at this moment into the pulp chamber. The first thing that I would put would be RC help. Should be able to see all the orifices in one go. Now I would not introduce a K file at this moment into the pulp chamber. The first thing that I would put would be RC help teaching. Now what happens is all the canal orifices are obscured, and that's why when what I mentioned in my previous slides, the mental imaging of the canals is the most important thing. As you can see now, this is completely flooded with RC help. Now what is the purpose of introducing this is it causes emulsification of pulp. So once the pulp emulsifies, there is very less tendency of pulp to get pushed in the apical direction. Everything comes up. This is going to be our first friend. This is Edge Tapered Platinum SX. This will open the orifice, and then I would introduce a 10 number key file. Let's get started. The speed would be 350 rpm and 3.5 torque. Now at this point of time, I am just imagining the position of mesiolingual canal. and the mesiobuccal canal, and away from the focal dentate. Brush away. In mesial systems, just imagine as if you are just touching the mesial surface. Don't push the file, brush, brush. Brushing is the only motion to be done in this particular case. Now we are irrigating after the orifice opening. Both the canal orifices have been opened up. As you can see in this video, it's nicely opened up. And now is the time to introduce a 10 number K file. Alright, I'll start with the 8 number file. You can give two types of bends. This is a gradual bend, or if there is an apical hook in the file, what you can do it with the tweezer, you can give a sharp bend over here. You can do that as well, there is no problem. Okay, give a sharp bend like this. So it depends on the degree of curvature. I'll give this tooth a nice I'll give this file a nice curve, gradual curve, and then we would introduce the key motion. I'm starting with the 8 number and then we'll shift to the 10. Here we would do minimal watch winding. That's the key. I would flood the canal with brimful of sodium hypochlorite, and as you can see, there's bubbling already started. And then I'll introduce this particular file. As you can see, in curved canal management, do very minimal watch winding motion. You should do majority of the time push and pull, push and pull. Don't do anything else, just do push and pull. This is minimum. This is the motion that you're gonna use in curved canal. Try and go minimal watch winding. Just engage, disengage, push and pull, push and pull. Go a little further, push and pull, push and pull. This is anti-curvature filing, as if you're just brushing on the mesial surface of this particular root. Push and pull. Minimal watch winding, not aggressive. Push and pull. As you can see over here, it's pretty curved. It's sharp at the end as well. Over here as well, same stuff. Push and pull. You can coat the file slightly with EDTA as well. Push and pull. No vigorous watch winding. Just up and down, up and down, up and down. This is 10 number file. Now we'll introduce 10 number file. I've given it a gradual curve. This is the most important. You see here, I'm not doing too much of watch winding. It's more of push and pull, push and pull. Once you get to the length, since this is a extracted tooth, we'll verify it with the radiograph, and the same goes with the mesiobuccal canal. Give it a gradual curve. Just replicate the curve that's there already in the push and pull, push and pull. Do not do too much of watch winding, as it leads to more procedural errors. And just try to brush on the mesial surface. Try to get this 10 number ultra smooth or super smooth. This is C Pilot. This is my favorite. You can use any K file of your choice. Nothing, no hard and fast. Alright, we'll verify with the radiograph as to where it is reaching till. Since the root is fused, we just need to verify once. So the next sequence in the instrumentation would be this X7 series. This has been my favorite. There's a reason to it. It has one of the longest cyclic fatigue resistance, so it is especially useful in curved canal cases. So the first file that I'll pick up is 1704. 1704 is one of the most robust files of this particular system, and this we would attach to the handpiece. This is white with 2 rings, and I'll measure it. The length of the tooth is 19 mm, so we'll set it up at 19. This is 19. That's it. So this is 1704. This is set at 300 rpm and 3 torque. You can use the torque 3 to 3.5. These files can endure higher torque and should be used. That's the company's recommendation. You can see I am brushing. You see how easily this goes into the curved canal. Brush, brush, north, west, south, east, north, south, east, west. Brush, brush towards the mesial surface. You can see the motion. The beauty of this file, you can curve this file like this, introduce it in the canal like this, and then start the handpiece, yet nothing will happen to the file. That's the beauty. Somebody who has little less mouth opening, you can do this as well. I'll do this with the mesiolingual as well. These files can endure enormous amount of stress. Now you see this. There has been slight opening of the flute. Now this is a safety feature of the file. It unwinds instead of breakages. If you autoclave it, it will again rewind to some extent, but if too much of unwinding happens, then it should be discarded. Remember this thing in mind. You get some features, you lose some features. These files are extremely difficult to separate, but yes, a drawback would be slight unwinding, but which would again recoil after autoclaving cycle. So this work of this particular file is done at present in both the canals. We'll shift to the next file in the sequence. This is the next file in the sequence. This is 2004, 2 rings and 20. This we will use now. I'll show you from the top this time. You can see this goes right in, and this is our reference point. See, it goes so easily, you just don't have to worry. Just keep inspecting the last few flutes of the file. Look for the debris. The next file in the sequence is 2504, that is 25.4%. These are all made on 1mm wire, and since they are made on 1mm wire, they are extremely flexible and they are extremely suitable for these kind of curved canal cases. Brush, see how easily it goes. That's our reference point, 19mm. That's our reference point, again 19mm. Now you keep inspecting the flutes of the file. I see very minimal debris at this point. Hence I would go to the next file, which is going to be 2506. The next file in the sequence is 2506. I'm a 6% guy. There's a reason behind I never finish at 4% unless the canals are extremely tight, is you don't get to see the debris on the last 5mm of the flutes. Unless you don't get that, I feel you have not cut the apical 1/3, and hence you have not got the chance to clean right till the end. You can do 4% provided you prepare higher. I'm okay if you do 3504 or 3004, fair enough, but 2504 is way too less for the preparation to end. So this is 2506, and I'll put it in the, you see this wobbling, doesn't matter. The moment you put it in the canal, it all comes out fine. You see the canal now it has come out straight, so no issues. Never force a file. There we are. You see the debris in last few flutes. So here the preparation will be over. With these files you can do 6% preparation even in curved canals. That's the beauty of this particular system. Done. Now I will irrigate. Enormous amount of debris gets accumulated. Always recapitulate between every rotary file. I've skipped the step, not skipped in the sense, real sense, but for video making, I've done after every rotary file. Use a 10 number, go right till the working length, and that would help. Alright, I'm sorry, I think my mic went bust. So yeah, this is what we got at the end of the shaping procedure. You can see the maintenance of the curvature over here, double S shape. Now what is the irrigation criteria in curved canals? Keep it as simple as possible. In you can use sonic, ultrasonic, whatever is of your choice, but in curved canals prefer using manual dynamic agitation as it's cost effective, wherein you take a gutta percha, which is your master cone, cut back by 1 millimeter, introduce 17% EDTA 1 ml, and do 100 strokes up and down in the canal. and that way you get a clean canals. You can use sonic as well, you can use ultrasonic as well. Just be careful, you might end up breaking the tips inside. So uh, keep it simple. Use manual dynamic agitation in curved canals. In other routine cases, you can use whatever you choose. Ultrasonic has more research as compared to the sonic. Now, how to tackle cone fitting issues with any heat treated files? In era of heat treated files, there is an issue wherein your cone does not fit. So for all practical purposes, for 4% use fine medium cones, and for 6% use any medium cones. Use a gatta pacha gauge. So if, for example, you've prepared 25 6%, put a medium cone in 25 and cut the whatever is coming out excess from behind, and that will be a perfect cone fitting with any heat treated files. Now let's have a look at the video of the same.
As we all know, there are multiple devices on the market. Syringe irrigation would also work, but in curved canals it's difficult. So my suggestion is whatever master cone that you used a technique called as manual dynamic agitation, wherein you insert the cone to your working length and do these strokes, at least 100 strokes per minute per canal with an amplitude of 1 millimeter. You can do this. This is relatively easier, and this creates a hydrodynamic effect inside the root canal space, and you'll be able to disinfect very well. This is one of the very nice methods, most economical. I do understand your next question and concern would be periapical extrusion. Unless you have violated the apical constriction to the level that anything, even your syringe irrigation, would express out, this would not cause damage to the periodontium that much. You can use this. It's documented study. There are n number of studies on this particular method. You can use this for disinfection. Use liquid EDTA for a minute and then disinfect with sodium hypochlorite, full 5% strength from Circamid. That's what I use in my day-to-day practice. For my most of the obturation, this is medium from Diadent M, and you can see it over here. I've taken that cone fitting should always be done in a wet environment to reduce the friction, and you can see here I'm inserting gently. I'll introduce another cone as well in the system. Yeah, and you can see here they are joining, and that will be verified by the radiograph. So here we are done with our preparation. Next step would be disinfect.
Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the videos. There's been a lot of controversy as to how much you should prep. Now, on a scale of x and y axis, it's understood and it's by you can say logic that as the apical prep size is increasing, your degree of curvature, as the degree of curvature increases, your apical prep size should decrease. So if you have extremely curved canal, try and have an apical preparation size of 3004 or 3504 or 2506, not more than that. Now, what is the finishing criteria in curved canal? Whether you should prepare 4% or 6%. I'll simplify in a very logical manner. Just observe the last 5 millimeter of rotary file. Every time you hit the working length, and the moment you see the debris in last 5 mm of flute, the preparation stands complete. We call this as visual gauging in endodontics. Have a look at this picture. This last 5 mm, the moment the rotary files are covered with this debris, your shaping is complete. I do understand you cannot touch all surface of the root canal with the rotary file because the canals are never round. They are oval, ribbon shaped, keyhole shaped. So this is what I follow in my practice, and I think this works wonderfully because you get both the balance of instrumenting as well as cleaning the apical method. Teeth to watch out for: maxillary lateral incisor, they have a sharp curvature distally and the palatal canal, which has a sharp curvature buccally. So always bend a file when sharp, but give a sharp bend to a file when you're dealing with these kind of teeth and these canals. Now let's have a look at some of my cases. We are always learning day by day. So this is the case number 1. It had a sudden severe sharp apical curve. The difficulty level was moderate, degree of curvature about 45 degrees, and this is how we finished. We could negotiate the entire curve. In fact, we had a crisscross curve over here. The strategy remained the same. Orifice opening followed by 10 number file super smooth, 1704 glide path, and 2506 finish with non-standardized GP cone medium. And I have used pulp canal sealer here, EWT. You can use AH plus or bioceramic, whatever is your choice. Case number 2, C. Here there's a sharp bend at the apical 1/3. It's called as a hook, 40 degrees almost. And this is how we ended up treating the case. This looked pretty straight, but it is not straight. Have a look at the radiograph. There is a lot of calcification in the pulp chamber. This you will never get a drop in such cases. I had to start with 8 number and unexpected curvature in the mesial system. Have a look at this. And there's a lateral canal which was filled over here. This is a moderate curve. Always follow Slob rule, that is same lingual, opposite buccal. Take well angulated 3 radiographs to ascertain how much curvature and the anatomy of root canal system. This is how we finished. Here the 2 canals will join into one, and over here you can see a gradual curve. This is an interesting case. He was the sales rep from one of the dental company. Of course I cannot name him, but yeah, so the stakes were very high, and yeah, I had to do a good job for him. And this is how we finished. Beautiful results. Same protocol, SX 1704, 2004, 2504, 2506. 4 files or 3 files is all you need to finish the case. Extremely tight lower 7. I took more than 1 hour for this particular case, 1.5 hours maybe. Middle third curve, extremely prone to ledges and blocks, and this is how we got the result using a simple standard protocol. Sharp apical curve, both mesial and distal, almost 80 degrees sharp bend, and this is what we got. Here the important is to get 10 number super smooth. Once you get that, these files follow very easily. Lower 8, extremely difficult curved canal case. If this would have been in my clinic, I would have extracted, but the consulting doctor, the referring doctor wanted me to just do it and save the tooth. I said okay, we'll do that. This was refused by 3 other dentists, and this was one of the most difficult cases I have treated. Double curvature, upper 7, and there's a huge pulp stone over here, and this is how we finished. Look at the curvature, look at this. Same sequence, SX 1704, 2004, 2504, 2506, non-standardized medium cone, and pulp canal sealer, EWT. This is again saying namaste, both mesial and distal canal saying namaste. This is case number 11 that I would like to share. Again a difficult case, upper 7, with curves in both mesial and mesiobuccal canal and distobuccal canal. Now have a look at this case. Look at the maintenance of the curve and why the importance of apex locator. The radiographic apex is over here probably, but the canal is ending over here. Hence it is important to trust your apex locator. When it's 0, 0, it is over here, right at the exit of the canal onto the PDL. Look at this. This is the radiographic terminus, not the radiographic apex. This is the radiographic apex. So you must understand, and please compulsory use an apex locator. Please, without that it's not possible to do endodontic therapy. One more interesting case, this was done during my post graduation days. I did not have access to these files. Those times I had access to HyFlex. They were the only heat treated files there. So have a look at this. Third root, double curvature, S shape. Look at this. This just prepped till 2004. A brand new file, nothing. It was extremely difficult case. And to sum up, this is one more case. Restorative prognosis poor. Since I was told to do endo, I just did it and referred back. And you can negotiate almost any curves if you follow the proper protocol. So I would like to thank you all for patient listening and watching during the most stressful times of humanity. I hope we all will come together and conquer the coronavirus and resume our normal lives.